Hey everybody, Nick Espinosa, your chief security fanatic here. Don't forget to subscribe. Today we are talking about tariffs, specifically the relationship between the United States and China, because China struck. And the tech industry here in the United States, I think, is about to take it on the chin. Now, I've read many articles on this, but there's a really concise write-up in Tom's by Anton Shilov. And let's dive into this because China has reopened their investigations into both Google and Nvidia for violating antitrust laws and is considering launching a similar probe against Intel. This is according to the Financial Times. So, these actions could result in heavy fines or restricted access to the Chinese market. So, the investigation, I think, is clearly linked to the trade tensions between China and the United States and were restarted ahead of the meeting that the two presidents are about to have. President Xi is going to be meeting with President Trump or vice versa, depending on the news sources. So this basically reopening of these investigations could be a way for China to gain leverage in those talks. Now, the inquiry into Google focuses on its Android operating system, that which runs bazillion mobile phones and devices around the world, and whether Android unfairly disadvantages Chinese smartphone manufacturers like Oppo or Xiaomi, which depend on Google software for their devices. Huawei went and did their own thing recently, and quite frankly, they've got some really cool phones out there, and I wish they weren't made in China. So, regulators in China are examining whether Google's market dominance harms these companies. The original examination, for the record, started in 2019, but it has been shelved for years. It was then restarted in December, and representatives of the State Administration for Market Regulation visited Google's offices in Beijing this past January. Remember, President Trump, was basically President-elect Trump during December. He was talking about tariffs during the campaign after he won the election, and then obviously here we are, right, leveraging tariffs on not just China but Mexico, Canada, and it looks like possibly the EU as well. So that's where we are now. Nvidia, on the other hand, they're being probed over potential breaches of commitments they made during their 2019 takeover of the networking hardware company known as Mellanox Technologies. China's competition authority approved the acquisition in 2020 under conditions meant to prevent monopolistic behavior and ensure a stable supply to Chinese customers, obviously of Nvidia products as well as Mellanox technology products. So, shortly after that approval, the authority began collecting complaints from the industry, though it is unclear whether it gathered enough evidence of the company's anti-competitive behavior in order to really justify this reopening. So the potential investigation into Intel on top of Nvidia and Google, because Intel's a massive American tech company, that's less clear. They have no official confirmation that it's even begun, but the rumors are that it is, and if launched, the probe could target Intel's business practices in China. For example, the largest global market that Intel has, where they have the lion's share of the CPU market. And quite frankly, China's been reverse engineering and ripping off Intel processors forever. So, as we all know, President Trump has introduced new tariffs against Chinese goods, and China's response may include using competition laws as a countermeasure. And so it's not just a straight up, oh, we're going to tax them or tariff them 10%, which hits us, the consumers, with higher prices. But if China does the same thing, Chinese consumers hit the higher prices. China has a much larger manufacturing base, though, than the United States. Obviously, that's of deep concern. So we're going to see where this goes. But quite frankly, this is going to be, I think, a brave new world when it comes to the tech sector, in the sense that as we are essentially growing a continual tech war with them, not to mention the fact we actually have a live, active cyber war going on with China and a whole bunch of others, this is, I think, going to get worse. And if President Trump is going to continue to, let's say, push the tariffs, et cetera, and this isn't political, but if he continues to do that, it's going to continue to escalate the situation in the same way if China did it and we were to retaliate, in the same way that President Trump leveled tariffs on Canada, and Canada immediately responded saying, well, we'll just start pulling American goods off the shelves and cancel contracts in the province of Ontario, et cetera. This tit for tat kind of thing tends to drive up prices, tends to basically have a hindrance effect on the economy. So we're going to see what happens here. Again, not getting political. I don't care if you love or hate the president or you love and hate tariffs or whatever it is. It's just the economic reality of the situation. So best of luck to all of us. We'll see what happens, but China right now seems like they're on the warpath. And please like, share, follow me here on Facebook and Twitter at NickAESP. And please feel free to subscribe to me at YouTube as well. And as always, stay safe, stay online, and please attempt to stay private and informed. Take care.